Okay, so this session is called how to meet my AI. I can't talk today. Meet my AI team and how to build yours. I'm going to show you some really practical stuff around the world of AI that you might not have seen before, and how to save a lot of hours. A lot of hours. I'm going to show you things that I've built myself. So before I do that, just a bit of an intro to who I am and what I do. So I'm a marketer of over 20 years. Can't believe I can say that now. But yeah, marketer. I've used to run a marketing agency, but yeah, I've always worked in marketing. I stumbled across AI really accidentally, actually, while I was running my marketing agency. One of our clients said we have a $10 million thing that we want to sell. And we want to, we've been knocking on doors and nobody's buying it. We just need to sell two a year and we're hitting our targets. And so I said, oh, how personal are you being with this? You know, obviously, the higher the ticket, the more personal you'd think the marketing would be. And they said, actually, we're only kind of segmenting by job title, by industry. And I was thinking, oh, wow, you need to go one step further, or at least 10 steps further. So I did a little Google around and I came across a tool called Crystal. There are other versions of that now. But what this did, and I didn't even realize it was AI at the time, it analyzes all of these digital breadcrumbs around the internet. So we all have these kind of things that we leave where we're on a podcast or whether we've left a comment or we put a post out. It gathers all of that together and analyzes your personality, your sort of digital footprint, and comes up with a sales playbook for you. And using that information and then a very human workflow outside of that, this was pre ChatGPT, I managed to generate $75 million worth of sales very quickly for this client. And I thought, oh, okay, this AI thing is pretty interesting. So straight after that, I just buried my head in all things AI. It was about a year later that ChatGPT came out and all this new version of AI started. And I had two thoughts. First thought was this, I feel like this is going to eat my agency. I'm really worried about this. And the other thought was, I could be at the beginning of something really exciting here. And I loved the best thing, the reason for my business name, AI for Non-Techies, all of it is accessible to non-technical people. So it wasn't about knowing code or which buttons to press or how to pull things apart and put them back together again. It was we're now able to use technology conversationally, this technology conversationally. So we can physically talk to it. We can type into normal words, normal conversational language, exactly what we want, and we get some really amazing stuff out. And I'm going to show you a few of those things today. So yeah, as a result, everything took off. I get flown around the world, get invited to speak at really good events. I did the keynote for Toyota's conference. I'm in Forbes a lot, and personally, I managed to get actually it's more like 3,000 now. This was a couple of months ago. 1,838% ROI, and I tripled my revenue, and that is going up and up and up because I'm using, and I'm a small business. I'm using all things AI, so it's a very, very exciting time at the moment. So these are the problems that I see people have quite a lot when it comes to AI. So they've probably dabbled a little with ChatGPT. You might have tried a few things, and I'm not sure how advanced the people are. I think we'll probably have a mix on this call. Some people might be thinking, I'm completely new to this. I don't know what any of this stuff is. Others might be thinking, oh, actually, I've kind of been playing with it for a while, but hopefully I'm going to show you something today that you might not have seen or might not have seen to this extent, but it's very newbie friendly as well, so don't worry. And really importantly, there are zero technical skills needed for this. It's just knowing the words to put and the words to write and where to write them. So a lot of people are struggling with which chatbot to use. Do I need Copilot or ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini? There just seem to be loads of different options. When they are trying to learn to prompt properly, because when you open up something like ChatGPT and you type whatever you like in, it could be one word, it could be an essay, it understands what you mean, but that doesn't mean you're getting the best out of it. So if you're learning to prompting can be, annoyingly hard. It's not that easy. Um, Feeling overwhelmed with tool choices, there seems to be 100 tools every single day, and trust me, with my job the way it is completely overwhelming. Or they're being battered by how fast it changes. So just as you wrap your head around one thing, something else changes. But they just want to see return on investment. So I want to know if I spend £20 on this, that I'm going to get £50 back. That's all I want to know. So which ones do I bother with? So hopefully today I'm going to show you a couple of things, a couple of tools that you should have that will get you a lot of ROI. Okay, so today I'm going to show you exactly and precisely how I save 143 hours every month using two tools, and those two tools total £45 a month. And you can also start saving 2 hours a day almost instantly with this tool as well. So it's about knowing which ones to pick and how to use them, as opposed to having 50 different AI tools. Okay, these are the two tool categories. So the first one is an AI note taker. So there are lots of different AI note takers. So you might have seen these, you might not have seen these, you might be using them every day, you might wonder what they are. So I always like to kind of explain across the range. So an AI note taker sits in your meetings with you, sits on in your meetings most often as an extra attendee in the meeting. So it'll be Heather's note taker, for instance, and it records a video of what happens. It records a transcript of everybody who's talking, and it also generally will give you a summary, next steps. It sometimes, some of the fancier ones, analyze what's happened, tell you how long you spoke for, whether you did too much of a kind of whether you commanded the call too much, whether you used a certain word too much. There's so many things you can do with it. But my favourite ones are these, and the reasons, there's lots of different options, but the reasons for these are the most secure. So if you think about this extra third party coming into your calls, security is absolutely paramount here, because we don't know, with this, especially with free tools. I will say that you need to get paid AI note takers. Because the free ones, you don't know what's happening generally with your data, or they might take the transcript of your call and put it straight back into their training. So you might, your private information might come out. So these four are great. So we have Circle Back, really good for those who might work in healthcare. So those kind of with clients in health. That has HIPAA compliance. And it's got SOC 2 compliance, another really good thing to look for, and GDPR compliant too. Sybil is a bit more for those who are more into the kind of salesy side of marketing. Grain is the one that I use every single day. I've tried all of these. I've actually had all of them at once for 8. So people who had a call with me had me and then 4 AI note takers, and I'd compare the transcripts. So these are the 4 that I used. Grain is fantastic. It's quick, it's reliable, it's accurate, and it's very secure. And then Fireflies is another great one that does a very secure option too. But just be aware when you pick the free ones, great to play with, but just be careful with sensitive data. So pick an AI note taker. They're generally around about £25 a month for a good one. And yeah, so I can even show you, actually, for those people who haven't seen. I like to go out of these here, and I'll just show you live a couple of things. This is my grain. So this is recording us right now. Actually, my grain note taker is here at the moment. So if I just pick a meeting, so I'll just pick a meeting an internal one that I just had with Lauren. We weren't on the. This is my EA. So yeah, we were talking about various things that were happening, but we have our transcript. There's a video of the call there. We didn't have our camera on. And then, so we're talking about it being a bank holiday. And then we have a summary of what happened. So that's our verbatim transcript. And these are our discussion topics here, and our key takeaways as well. It's really, really useful. You can also see how much we spoke. So I spoke 71% of the time. I'm a very chatty person, and Lauren was 28% of the time as well. So this is kind of what you get when you get a transcript, but this is the gold stuff here. Being able to copy or download this transcript is incredibly powerful, and I'll show you kind of why shortly. Okay, so just going back over here. So tool 1, an AI note taker. Tool 2 is any of the AI chatbots. There's some that I prefer. So you have ChatGPT, one of the most popular ones that most people have used. Claude, which is and let's go through them in fact a little bit closer. So ChatGPT, I call this the kind of Swiss Army knife of AI chatbots. It has the most innovative features. It can do lots and lots of different things. So on ChatGPT, you can not only converse back and forth, but you can analyze your data. You can upload pictures, and it can read the pictures. It can create really quite good images. It can see around you if you have the phone app as well. You can hold it up and you can talk to it in really realistic voice, and it can see around you. Really, really useful for visually impaired people, actually. I've done a lot of work in that area. And then we have Copilot. So Copilot is one that's generally given to you rather than you pick. It's in place in a lot of larger organizations. It's high on trust because it's a Microsoft product, but it's not as strong as the other 3 when it comes to capabilities. It's perfectly fine for beginners, but I think if you're using Copilot at work and ChatGPT at home, you might feel a little bit frustrated because Copilot's performance isn't as good, but it's getting there. It's due a big update in the next couple of weeks. And then we have Google's one, which is Gemini. Google are in a lot of pain right now. They are really, really worried because people are really moving away from going to Google and they're going to ChatGPT to search instead. So they're losing market share. So Google are really going for it with all of their AI products, especially this week. They released loads of stuff this week. But Gemini is their chatbot and it's fantastic. This one I call the one to watch because Google have so much to lose. They are really putting everything in there. But this one you can have longer conversations with instead. So ChatGPT, the Swiss Army knife. I didn't mention Claude. Claude is the human sounding one. Claude is the one that's brilliant for copywriting. Really, really human sounding, really creative. A new version came out last night, which is even better. It's one of my favorite ones, which is why it's circled. Copilot, good, robust, trustworthy, but it's not quite as capable as the others. And then Gemini, which is the one to watch. So pick one of those. But for the purposes of this, we're going to go for Grain and we're going to go for Claude. So I want to introduce you to my AI team. All of these, of course, AI images. These are people that I have created in order to help me with my everyday. So people, I say people, I automatically say he and she. These are AI chatbots that I've created. And when you hear the term kind of created an AI chatbot or built an AI chatbot, it sounds like it needs technical skill and it absolutely doesn't. It's really easy. It takes maybe half a day to set one up, but you instantly get, it's personalized to you. It does exactly what you want. It's really intuitive as to how you set it up, and then it's amazing. It saves loads of time, which I'll go through more in a second. So I have my marketing team here. We have Lead Magnet Larry. He helps me ideate, create, and edit my lead magnets. We have Webinar Wonder here, so I can describe a webinar that I want to do. She has examples of all of my past webinars. She knows my strategy, she knows my knowledge base, and she will say, okay, then here's some ideas for a webinar. And not only that, she will help me create my webinar processes. I come up with an idea, I come up with an outline, and then I write a big document with loads of notes for my designer in it. And Wanda actually helps me create that document as well. She'll do me the entire first draft of that with all of the notes for the designer because she understands how we design our slides. So incredibly useful. We have Column Callum, one of my favourite names. I've got a couple of columns in magazines that have very specific word counts, very specific tones of voice. So I kind of do a draft piece. I give it to Column, give it to Callum even, say which magazine it's for, and he will adjust it and make sure it's all perfect. He will also come up with ideas and remind me what I've written about before. We have LinkedIn Lara. Now, she doesn't write my LinkedIn posts for me. I love writing LinkedIn posts, and I think it's still a very human thing to do them. I don't think you could be truly successful on LinkedIn if you're not writing your own posts right now. But she helps me come up with ideas and analyzes my performance as well. So I've got quite a lot of followers on LinkedIn, so it's a big part of my strategy. And then there's Eagle-Eyed Eddie. So he is trained with my brand's tone of voice, our style guide. So whenever I've written anything, I just chuck it over to Eagle-Eyed Eddie to notice if there's any problems with it. He also does legal contracts as well. So I say if I have a contract with a client, and of course they have a big legal team, and then there's just little old me sitting at home. I used to work in law, but only in marketing, so I don't have any legal knowledge. So he will look over contracts and check if there's any contradictions, any clauses that I should be worried about, anything that might seem unfair, and pull it out. And yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. The amends that he's made have been accepted by enterprise legal teams many times. He's really quite wonderful, is our Eddie. Then we have training delivery. So I do lots of training, majority do training. So I have Program Polly. So she helps me create longer transformational programs. So when it's kind of one-offs, it's Webinar Wonder. When it's longer programs where we do sort of 12 sessions, it's Program Polly. Feedback Frank, he helps me analyze my feedback. So does a sentiment analysis and will pull out quotes and ideas. And will help me think of new content based on the back of my old content and how to tweak my stuff. For sales, we have Proposal Pete. So and I'm going to demo him live for you, but he, using a sales call transcript, he will transform that into a perfectly structured proposal with all of my pricing and everything included. We have Deal Daniela. She's a simulated coach. She helps me negotiate things. We can maybe try her out if we have time. And she will negotiate promotions. She will negotiate higher rates. She will do whatever I want. She just will help coach me in a simulation of a situation and give me feedback, live feedback as we're practicing. And then finally, we have strategy. So we have Brainbox Betty. She's like my best friend who knows everything about my business. That makes me sound really sad, doesn't it? My best friend. But she knows everything about my business. So if I have an idea, she's the clever one. I go and I speak to her, and she's trained with all of the books, the business methodologies that I like to use. And she will, if I say I want to do this, she'll go, but you're on the way to this, and if you deviate away, that's not going to be very good for you. Remember the plan here. And I think, okay, then, all right, Betty. And then we have Growth Greta, and she is purely focused. She is obsessed with business growth. She knows all of our targets, and she will just feedback when I feed in how we're doing so far. She'll help give me ideas as well. So this is my AI team so far. Actually, since I did this slide, there's a couple more people, but I keep on building these out. So how are they made? So you can actually create your own mini chatbot, your own kind of team member on any of those platforms that I've mentioned before. So on ChatGPT, you have custom GPTs. On Copilot, you have Copilot Studio. On Gemini, you have Gemini Gems. And on Claude, you have Claude Projects. So all four of them have the ability to create your own one. And what it takes is an idea. And that's probably, the idea is probably the hardest part of it, because it's really hard to imagine what can an AI do for me. So what I did was I took a week and I wrote down, I tracked how I was spending my time, which is difficult because I'm one of these people that flicks from task to task. But I wrote down as a really good educated guess of how I spent the last hour, how I spent that day. And I looked at all of the time sappers, all of the things that took too long, the things that could be optimized. And so what came out were a few things. Editing took me a really long time, hence Eagle-Eyed Eddie. Webinars, writing programs, that was taking me all day, particularly programs, day 2, maybe 3 days of work to think about all the things that the client wants, to analyze it, to create a really strong program, to come up with tasks, all of that sort of stuff. So these things, those ideas, those problems became ideas for these GPTs. And I've got something that's going to really help you out with this towards the end. So don't worry if you're going to be scratching your head. The next thing you do is you give it instructions. So you need to give it very detailed instructions, and it's a bit of a mixture of a really good prompt and almost like board game instructions. Let's have a little dive into one of these. So one of my ChatGPT, let's look at the back of deal Daniela. So this is what she looks like here. To use her, we'll just click get started. This was the one that helps negotiate, by the way. So she says, hi, I'm Daniela. What's your name? Heather. I've made this for public use, otherwise it would just be for me. I'm here to help you practice negotiation skills. I'm ready to get started. So I've programmed all this stuff in. And she tells me how it works because that's what I asked her to do. So she's going to interview me first. She's going to start a role play. We've added in these kind of commands, which is a little bit more of an advanced version. So at any point throughout the role play, I can type these words. So if I typed replay, she'll analyze our latest exchange and give feedback. She'll kind of come out of the simulation. If I type in closed deal, it will end the negotiation. And then at the end, I get a report. So she'll ask me loads of questions. We go back and forth, and that's how it works. We won't go through all of that. But in the background, I just want to show you the kind of the instructions and what they look like. So here are some instructions. One of the most annoying things about ChatGPT is that, have they added? Oh, wow, this is new. This has come in the last couple of days. I haven't seen this. I was about to say the box is too small. No, it isn't. This is great for training as well. So it's a very detailed description of what we want, how we want her to act. So we need to think about how somebody's going to use it. Hence why I've said board game instructions. It's kind of, right, player 1 rolls a dice. If they roll 2, they go here. If they roll 3, they go here. You have to think about all the different decisions. And again, I have a tool that's going to help you out with every single part of this. So don't worry too much if this is seeming a bit much. So we give her a character, Deal Daniela, an advanced negotiation simulator drawing from proven frameworks, including BATNA, so Best Alternative to Negotiated Agreement, the Harvard Principles of Negotiation, and the Gottman Method for Managing Difficult Conversations. And then we say exactly how she gets started. So that conversation we just had, I've specifically given her words. When they answer with their name, say, great, add in their name, it's lovely to meet you, etc., building that. And then I ask her to do the interview, and these are the subjects she needs to interview about. And then we've talked about all of these other instructions here. So this is what we do, and then we've just given her these detailed instructions. So we've got instructions over here. So we've had our idea that matches to a blocker, and then we've got our instructions as to how she's gonna work. The other thing we have is this knowledge bank here. So she needs to know some information. I keep on saying she, don't I? It just you'll find you do it as well. Some information. So these chatbots have a brain that encompasses a download of the whole internet that's been tidied up, basically. But if you want your chatbot to know specific things, upload information about it. So if you want it to be aware, so the Gottman method, for instance, it will know plenty about it. But if you want it to know details, go and find some information on the Gottman method, save it and add it into her brain, and she's going to know that a little bit first and foremost above her kind of main brain. So you can add in whatever knowledge you need, that you think this chatbot might need to do the best possible job. Often that's examples of best practice as well. And then, so that's it. That's all you need. The idea, the instructions, the knowledge bank. You'll need a name. You'll need a kind of picture, but that's easy. And then you test it and you iterate it. And this is one of the main things that people get wrong. They build it, they try it out, something goes wrong and they go, it didn't work, and they go. I cannot emphasize there is not a single one of my team that I haven't had to do this with quite extensively. So all you do is you test it and you think, okay, so if I ask this, she doesn't know what to do, or she goes down the wrong path. So you need to go back and then add that into instructions, resave and try again. So this is why where it might take half a day to set up, a lot of that half a day is this iteration process as well. So I want to show you a couple of examples of how I did it the old way and how I do it now with my AI team. So when I'm creating proposals for clients, the old way, I would have a sales call and I would write notes off the back of the sales call. So I'd sit there with my pad. I still have a pad, even though I have an AI note taker, but I just write a lot less on it. I tend to draw now, but that's just how I process information. So I have the sales call and I wrote notes. That takes an hour because the sales call takes an hour. There's no change in that. Then I send a follow-up email. So that takes me about 10 minutes to go through my notes, to pick out the next steps, and I'll send that email. Then I'll write my notes up. So I'll be translating the scribble into something that makes sense. Then I will go and do a little bit of research on the company. So probably a Google before that. I'd have a little look for 30 minutes. I'd use any databases that I've got. And I'd make sure, because it's a proposal, that I understand who the company are, what they're doing, so I can add in some little extras into that proposal and make it really personal to them. Then I would draft the proposal itself, which would take me to be on at least an hour, depending on how complex it is. So that would take my notes, my research, and I'd put it into here. And then I would always pass to someone else to check. I learned that very early on, never to just completely trust important information. I would pass it to my assistant maybe to check. But it would be some form of human normally. They would take half an hour to check it and come back. So the total time spent there, 3 hours and 10 minutes. But the new way is with our lovely Pete, Proposal Pete. So let's go through the kind of new way of doing this. So sales call with AI note taker, that still takes an hour, but I'm not having to write, so I can pay more attention. I can ask more questions because I know it's all been recorded for me. I'd send a follow-up email, which is now 2 minutes instead of 10, because I've got the AI note taker, and often that's just one button press. It's all written for me. I would then do my company research. I'd use a free tool. So you can do research however you want, but I would use Perplexity as a little additional thing in there. So Perplexity, for those people who don't know it, it's a free tool. It operates a bit like Google, but you get a much better response. I like to always show people. So let's have a little look at Perplexity in action. Perplexity.ai, it's free. There is a paid version as well. You just type in whatever you want. So generative AI. Ooh. Use cases for digital marketers, for example. Instead of getting a list of sites out, which is what we do when we go to Google, we actually get an actual response. We get a reply. We kind of have a proper, considered response. It's gone out and it's read those websites for us in less than a second. And now we have an actual response, which is genuinely useful. And we also have these citations so we can check where each thing came from. We just click on those and it will take us to the website. So instead of the reverse way, so Google, we go to the website, we find the answers, we get the answer, and then we can go to the website if we want to find out more. And that just makes so much more sense, and it's so much quicker as well. You can also here ask follow-up questions, which you can't do with Google. And you can do all sorts of things. You can then say, create me a blog based on the above, and it can act like ChatGPT too. Absolutely amazing tool. Really, really good. So yeah, so that's Perplexity. I will do my company research instead of 30 minutes Googling around. It'll probably take me 15 minutes on Perplexity. And you'll notice here, I'm not saying it's one click and it's done for you. It's where it used to take 30, it takes 15. Where it used to take 10 minutes, it now takes 2. This is where we are right now. We're not in a space where we press it and it's done for us. It works with us, not for us. And then we have the transcript from our sales call and our research from Perplexity into Proposal Pete, into our chatbot. And that takes about 5 minutes for me to just gather that together and put it in. And he's created the proposal. The proposal was created. That hour is completely gone. I quality check with Proposal Pete. So I ask him questions. Are you sure about this? Double check this. Another 5 minutes. Now I then go ahead and check the output, because all AI generated content needs a human to look at it. Now this is as I say, it's not a one-click solution. This is not eliminating all work and replacing it with a button. This is reducing the time but increasing the quality at the same time. So now checking the output of Proposal Pete takes me 30 minutes. And then of course I'd send it out and hope for the best. So the total time spent here is 2 hours. So on every proposal I send, I've saved myself an hour and 10 minutes. And it's a much stronger proposal. So those scribbled notes are nowhere near as detailed as the notes taken by an AI note taker as well. So the proposal is far more in depth. It's a much better solution and it's a quicker solution. Yeah, so that is Pete. And actually, I've got a little example here for you. I want to show you Proposal Pete in action. So Proposal Pete is a Claude project. So we've just seen a ChatGPT custom GPT with Deal Daniela. This is a Claude project. So I would click into Claude. The reason I use Claude for this is because it's very human sounding and I want my proposals to sound human sounding. Okay, so I go into user project and I would pick, there he is, Proposal Pete. And he's now switched on. Now what I need is a sales transcript. So I've created a dummy one here for you. This is just an AI generated one because obviously I can't share a real sales call, but this is between Sarah, David, Maria, James of what's it called? What it's made of, Global Tech Manufacturing. Excuse me, sorry, I just need to take a look. Yes, so we've got an example of selling AI training. So Sarah is acting as me, and then David, Maria, and James are from this global tech company, and it's come up with just in a dummy sales transcript. So I'm just going to take this, I'm just going to download it as a PDF for now, but you can use any kind of file type. And I'm just going to say, I tend to say hi, Pete. You don't need to say hi, Pete, but I've got a proposal for you. It kind of makes it more fun to do this. Got a proposal for you to write. And all I do, so he knows nothing else. I'm just going to upload this file, this PDF we've just saved. Oh, it's gone into that. Let me just buy and date that's opened. Is that where we are? No. Oh, I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. None. Where is our thing? It's my I don't know if something's state modified, surely. We've got a bit of a strange thing going on with my. Tell you what we'll do instead. We will cut and paste it instead. Okay, so got a proposal for you to write and I will paste it instead. There we go. Okay. That's all I've said. He knows nothing else. Like he's got his instructions in the background. Hey Heather, lovely to hear from you. They play back. I'm here to help you create a brilliant proposal. So I've asked him to always ask me any clarifying questions if he's read the transcript and if there's anything he's not sure of, to ask me questions just as like you would with a human. I need to clarify something important. I noticed the transcript mentions Sarah Mitchell from AI Training Solutions, but you're Heather from AI for Non-Techies. It's kind of picked that up, that it's a different person. So let's just say, yes, let's just pretend I'm Sarah. So he's conscientious as well. So he's even got opinions. They all seem good. This seems like a really good call. Well done. So there's a couple of things he's going to clarify at the end. So just go ahead with whatever you think, Pete. I love that you can talk in this normal way. You can, on ChatGPT, you can even physically talk. Okay, so now he's going to create the proposal for us, and this is what it is. Here it is being created. Now, this proposal is in the exact structure that I use for my proposals. And it's taken every detail. So I have an overview, I have a recommended approach, I have a section for who it's for, I talk about the problems we solve, program benefits, and it's all structured perfectly. And there we go. Every single bit that would have taken me ages to do is all being written for me. And it's just absolutely wonderful. It saves me so much time. And that's because I've given him the data. He's had his instructions. I've given him the data of the sales call, and it's created this. There we go. And it's even added in our pricing for, because he's trained on our pricing too. There we go. So it would be a lovely chunky deal. I wish this one was a real one. £180,000, that would be nice. So there we go. So that is him in action there. I'm showing you just a couple more examples. Oops. Okay, so this was setting up an AI training program. So anything that takes for a long time. So I would normally have my discovery call with a client, 2 hours. I'd write up the notes, 2 to 3 hours. So this is a big program. This is something that takes me, potentially several days. Client approval of the outline. Then we'd write up all the slide copy and design the notes. That generally takes about 6 hours. Nova, who sounds AI generated, she's real. She's my real designer. She creates all of our slides. And then I work through approve and practice, which normally takes 4 hours, and then we deliver. So total time spent for creating this 6-month training program idea, 23 hours. But with this is Nova. She let me put a photo of her on. So this is so with Nova and with the AI generated program Polly, we are able to save tons of time. So we do the discovery call with the AI note taker. We put a transcript into Polly. So we take that just like we just did with Proposal Pete. Put that into Polly, she creates the outline much faster. Client approves, so we can get it to the client faster. They're impressed. Client relationship is improved. Polly writes the slide copy and the design notes in 2 minutes. I work through them, 2 hours, always being conscientious to work through AI generated copy. Nova then creates all slides. That right now, I don't think AI is very good at creating slides at all. There are some programs that can create quite basic slides, like Gamma is one of them. There's Beautiful AI is another, but I don't think they're very strong. I think Nova slides, as you can see, beautiful and colourful, and I don't think anything can beat that at the moment anyway. And then I work through approve and practice, another 4 hours, and I deliver. So total time spent for this one, 18 hours. So we've saved ourselves 4 hours, 56 minutes of time. Final one, creating a lead magnet. So let's say we're creating an ebook. The old way for me to create an ebook, so a really nice chunky ebook that I'm going to send out on a topic, maybe a thought leadership piece, or for me, AI for financial planners, or something to attract new leads in. I would brainstorm ideas, take me about an hour. I'd draft the copy, take me about 3 hours, a proper ebook. An editor would edit, a human editor normally. I'd add my design notes to this script. The designer Nova would go and create the design. I would review and tweak, and then off it goes to generate lovely leads. Time spent on that about 10 hours, but hopefully it'll get me far more leads back. The new way, we use lead magnet Larry. So Larry would brainstorm the ideas, draft the copy, I would review, Larry would edit, I'd add in design notes, Nova would create the design, I'd review and tweak. And so the total time spent there, 6 hours, 6 minutes, and then another kind of almost 4 hours saved, which is just incredible. So you can start to see this mounting up. So over a month, this really mounts up. So I've worked out that I save 143 hours a month. So it's almost like, if you think about it, that's sort of over a full-time employee, and it's only costing me £45 a month. So lead magnet Larry, I do one lead magnet a month, 3 hours. Webinar Wonder, about 4 webinars a month. You can see 4 columns, 20 posts. Eagle-eyed Eddie does lots of stuff. 12 proposals, 15 programs, 20 feedback forms. It adds up massively. But that's not even to mention the others, because they have less of a tangible kind of measurable output. So Deal Daniela, she's getting me higher prices every time. She's helping me negotiate. Brainbox Betty is helping me with much stronger strategy and helping me as a founder stay on track. Growth Greta is making me grow faster. All these kind of people, these AI people are contributing towards the business growth as well. So when you want to save your 2 hours per day, and this is, you can see only a couple of these could really save you. You've got to think about those blockers. So start with just one chatbot. Just think about one problem and one chatbot. So Write out your goals. Think about what you want to achieve and then what's stopping you achieving it. So for most people, it's like time sappers, too much admin, things that are taking far too long. You feel, don't you, when something's not taking too long and it's not an optimal process. You think, oh, there's got to be a better way to do this. Often there is with AI. And then pick one of those blockers. Pick one of those things that's causing you a problem or sapping too much time, and brainstorm your GPT. But don't worry, I've made something to help you. So it's the GPT Generator 3000. So I've given the LSE the link to post it into the chat, or you can use this QR code if you prefer as well. Now I love naming these. This is yet another GPT. This is a custom GPT on ChatGPT. And what this does, I'll show you actually. I'll show you very quickly because we're running out of time. But what this does, we'll move out of Daniela. We'll go back over into ChatGPT. We have our GPT Generator 3000s. So this helps you come up with ideas for GPTs. It will help you write your instructions. It will help you gather the right knowledge, and then it will help you troubleshoot. It will even help you come up with nifty names for your GPT as well. So you just click on Let's Generate, answer the questions, and you'll end up with your own AI team as well. So it makes it super simple to start. So there you go. That is that there. Okay. So hopefully that is really helpful for you. So people frequently ask, so wait, hang on a second, you've just shown that your best tools are on Claude, but why did the GPT generator, and why is that on ChatGPT? So the answer is with Claude is brilliant at copywriting. It's very creative, it's very human feeling. But when you create a Claude project, you can't share it with anyone. So if I'd have made GPT Generator 3000 on Claude, I couldn't share it with you. You'd have to log into my account. Unless you're in Teams on Claude, and then you can share it with your team members, but I couldn't share it in a webinar like this. And it can't connect to live information as well. Whereas ChatGPT, massive pros, it has internet access. It can connect to other stuff if you want it to, so you can actually connect it to other programs. And best of all, you can share it with anyone. So I'm able to get that link and share it with you. Cons, copywriting wise, it's crap. It's not very good. It's not as creative as Claude, and it feels a bit AI-like. So you kind of have to tweak that a little bit more. So you can share your ChatGPT custom GPTs, but Claude's ones sound a little bit better. So it depends what you want it for. So there's just one more thing. So we're forgetting the biggest blocker of them all, the bottleneck to end all bottlenecks, which is of course me. I am the biggest bottleneck in my business by miles. So the biggest thing for her, I created yet another team member, and this is Carmen Cassandra. Carmen Cassandra, I send her big stress rants, and I have a lot of those. My business is growing very fast, and I have a lot of stress at the moment. And what she does, she calms and she organises me. I've trained her in exactly how to calm me down. She reminds me of the bigger picture and what I'm doing all of this for and why I'm doing 14-hour days. She distresses me, and she helps me with focus exercises as well. I'm a bit neurospicy, and it helps me kind of focus on things sometimes. She's totally zen, but not in an annoying way. So what we've learned today is you only need 2 tools to make an absolutely huge difference. Use my GPT generator to get started, and then after that you can start building your own, but this really does help you. I use the GPT generator 3000 to build new team members, so that's how useful it is. Build, test, but remember to iterate, keep on going back, tweaking the instructions. It's just as important as the building part. And then you can start saving your 2 hours every single day on marketing tasks, on admin, or whatever it is that you'd like. So final thing is I've got an AI Academy if anybody's interested as well. If you just hop over to nontechies.ai, I do live sessions weekly. I have expert masterclasses, I do skills tracks, all sorts of different things. So yeah, hop over and have a look at that. So hopefully that was helpful, and we've now got 15 minutes for me to take any questions. Okay. So I've got quite a few questions I think in here. So I'm just going to go through them. So can you share the URL for Crystal, please? Yeah, absolutely. Let me just grab it for you. It's called Crystal. There's actually, in fact, I'm going to give you the URL for another one because there's a better one now. It's called Humantic. So Crystal was a couple of years ago. It still exists, but it's really expensive. So Humantic is the other one. I'm going to put that into the chat, the URL into the chat right now. There we go. Humantic.ai. It does exactly the same thing, but it's cheaper, and that's the one I use right now. Where's my Q&A gone? Okay, so that is done. How do you make them work in tandem? Now, Sharada, I'm not sure which one. Oh, the AI note taker. So hopefully you saw when we went through that that you would feed. It's not for every single one of them, but most of them rely on a call transcript. So you download or copy the call transcript and you put it into your prompt into your custom GPT. That's that one. How do you make sure that they're not hallucinating? This is a really good point. You can't. And this is for people who might be newer to this. All AI chatbots, every single one of them hallucinates, which means that it lies, and it lies around about 15 or 20% of the time by default. Now you can get around that as best you can by learning to prompt properly. So really good prompts with lots of specific information really reduce down AI's need to go out and kind of fill gaps and spaces, which it tends to do with hallucinations. But another good way is to create multiple responses and then ask AI to analyze the 3 responses, and you get the truth back. So it's not going to do the same hallucination in each response as well, which is quite useful. There's also a new technology coming out. Well, it's out, but it's kind of not commonplace yet, called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. And what that does, it kind of gives the AI chatbot a source of truth to look at first. And it says, first look in this pot and then look at the rest of your brain. And it really minimizes hallucinations down to more like 5%, which is human level of error as well. Are your personal AI assistants always 100% correct? I'm thinking about eagle-eyed Eddie with the legal matters. No, again, like humans, they're not always correct, and that's why I always say there's always that bit. So in all of those processes, it's me always looking at the end, and I know it's a faff because when we start using these tools, you think, oh, it's amazing, and it's so easy to just take that and just go with it. But yeah, so a brilliant tip would be, again, using AI to help you with AI. So I can't double check that Eddie's right. But if I added another prompt, so maybe we have another prompt or a chatbot saying, just check if there's anything I need to be worried about on here, run that a couple of times, then you've got, AI in a couple of extra minutes has double checked itself. So it's not gonna, like I say, it's not gonna be wrong over and over and over again. Another prompt will take care of that. So it does get a little faffy when you go for more advanced levels. Sarah, I'm assuming it's not based on an agent model. What are the benefits of not using one, and how would it look if I wanted to apply an agent model to create my own chatbot? So yeah, here we're focusing on, you've got kind of multiple levels of AI use. I always think you start off with prompting, so how to instruct your normal chatbot properly. Then you've got your kind of different modes. So you have deep research modes, you have reasoning modes, you have all these different options. Each chatbot has lots of different versions. So learning how to prompt those is the next thing. Then you've got this level, which is the kind of building your own assistant level. Then I think above that, you've got automated AI workflows. So using things like Make or Zapier, and putting them together and having AI modules in those. So some people might be thinking, what on earth are you talking about? But I think Sarah will probably understand from her question. So you can have like ChatGPT as part of an automation. And then above that is agentic AI. And there are 2 different types of agentic AI at the moment. There's the non-techie friendly AI, which is using pre-built agents. So there's Manus and there's GenSpark. They're 2 big ones. They're already built for you, super easy to use. And then on the other side, you've got you're building your own agents. So the likes of Relevance is probably the best one actually, but that requires coding knowledge. So that's in an area that I don't cover. I know somebody, if you want to learn how to build your own agents, I highly recommend Ashley Stern. So ASHLEIGH, Stern, STEARN. I think it has an E at the end. I'm not sure. She's my agent guru. So she's more technical than me, and she builds agents. She runs a few cohorts at the moment in building agents for beginners. So if you find her on LinkedIn, she's fantastic. And there's also Valeria Pilkovic, VALERIYA, PILKEVIC and a H at the end. And she's really good at that type of thing too. So yeah, building your own agent is definitely needs technical knowledge. You need to know a little bit of JavaScript to do anything useful. So I tried, and I thought I kept on running into a wall. So hence the AI for non-techies, I stay on the non-techie side. So hopefully that makes sense. Sarah, can you also make them as a team working together? So they can't communicate with each other, but you kind of 2 things. You can have a chat where you put at, and you're bringing your custom GPTs into your chat, which is really useful. So you can say at lead magnet Larry, come up with this. Great. Now at deal Daniela, do this. So in the same chat, but they're not communicating with each other. You can also put them together into AI workflows. So this thing goes into a custom GPT here, and then it goes into the next one here, and then it does something else, but a bit more advanced. Danielle, when is it worth using custom GPTs, which use the 4.0 model, and when is it better to just use GPT 03, which is more capable? So yeah, it's different use cases. When you're using custom GPT, in fact, when you prompt normally, it's best for one-off prompts. When you find yourself keep on going back to that conversation, you keep on going in and into that same conversation. We all do it when we start prompting. We're like, oh, that was great. I'll just add a little bit to that conversation. There's a really good custom GPT use case. I would say 4.0 just generally is the best for interactive conversation. 03 is great, but it's a reasoning model. It's not an everyday chat model. So they're a little bit different. It's fantastic, but for content creation, I think, and your everyday simulations, 4.0 is still better than 03. What's your view on deep research versus Perplexity? I love ChatGPT's. Actually, Perplexity has a deep research mode as well, but ChatGPT has that deep research button. I just think it's fantastic. I'm so impressed with it. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, Perplexity's normal mode, I'd say ChatGPT's deep research is better than Perplexity's normal mode, but Perplexity's deep research is better than ChatGPT's deep research. That's in my opinion. Okay. Well, these keep on. Every time I get one out, I'll have to just racing through these. By tandem, oh, there we go. Thank you, Sharada. By tandem, I meant, did you create one folder to have all of them in place? It's quite tedious to move from one custom GPT to another. How can we do that seamlessly? I'm afraid I still do that quite manually to just go from one to another. It is tedious. I think I would really like sort of better organization in my AI, but at the moment I do it very very manually. I need to. I keep on saying to myself, I need to take a month off and just focus on the automation of my own AI workflows, because I'd save myself probably years off my life. How do you deal with bias? Another really good way to get AI to check itself. So bias is a really prevalent problem when it comes to AI generated content. It is something that happens. It's really easy to see if you type in fact, let me just show you. If you go to something like Midjourney, I'm just going to share my screen again in a second. Let me just open the Midjourney first. Woo. It's doing that. It's technology, eh? Oh, it's just not letting me type for some reason. I'll just describe it. So if you go to something like Midjourney or ChatGPT and you type in doctor or nurse, you're going to get a male doctor, you're going to get a female nurse. If you type in business owner, you're going to get, for some reason, a young white male with a beard and glasses, most of the time glasses. It shows the kind of inherent bias really easily in image generation, but it's very much there in text as well. So what I do is I create a response, and then after that response, when I'm happy with it, I'll say, now act as a bias consultant specializing in generative AI, and analyze the above content and pull out any areas where bias might have happened, and it will help me pull it out. So using AI to correct the problems with AI is a really useful thing to do. Okay, I'm going to try and get through all of these before we finish, but they keep on coming in. How do you keep up with all the news, AIs and updates? I don't. I try and pick what I can. I think if I tried to, I would just be a sort of puddle on the floor. There's so much going on, but I think futuretools.io. It's run by Matt Wolf. Anybody who's on YouTube and is wanting to know about new AI stuff, Matt Wolf. It's Wolf with an E. He is so good. He's really engaging. He's ahead of the game. It's very accessible. And that's his website is futuretools.io, and he has a news section. That's where I get my news from. So I never miss anything. I also listen to the Artificial Intelligence podcast, the Artificial Intelligence Show, it's called. It's by Mike Kaput and Paul Rotka. And it's on Spotify. That's another really good one. It's an hour a week, and that's really, really strong too. Really, it's got a marketing edge as well. So it's by those two guys are from the Marketing AI Institute. So that's how I keep up, or try to. Can you share, please, the names on the chat, the LinkedIn names? Yes, of course. I don't know why I'd spelt them and didn't just type them. That didn't make any sense, did it? Let me just put them in there. There we go. Oh, I think there we go. If I put Okay, so it's Valeria Pilkovic. She is just great, just generally. And then we have Ashley Stern. I think it's that without the E. Agent Mastermind. So she's just amazing. She's kind of like a techie. So she's just wonderful. Okay, so that's done. I really want to start creating digital products, ebooks, audiobooks, but I feel overwhelmed by which AI tools to use. Is there a place I can find out which tools are best fit for purpose? I think this is really lacking on the market right now. There are a couple of things. So Future Tools and the website I just mentioned. If you type in what you want, it gives you tool recommendations, but I find it's not completely comprehensive yet. And then there's also Futurepedia. Both of them are free, and again, you can pick your use case, and it will give you recommended tools, but it's not completely up to date, so you might miss out on a tool that's just come out, maybe. But that's probably where I'd start. Yeah. For audiobooks, I would use 11 Labs. That's the best in audio. Ebooks, I would use Claude, personally. Are there any AI? Is there any AI tool to run your business ads in social media, monitor them, and give suggestions on how to run better ads? Pencil is a really good one. It's existed for a while, but it does A/B testing. It writes ad copy. It even does the creative for you as well. But it's kind of got an AI version now, so that's one I'd use at the moment. Yeah. And Angel, how do you start creating an AI team member in ChatGPT? What's the prompt you use? So if you used the GPT 3000 that I gave you, just click on that, answer the questions it asks you, and it will sort you out. So if just to actually I can't. If you go, it's on the left. If you go to custom GPTs, click on that. No, GPT store. Click on that, and then in the top right there's create, but you need to have a paid account to create GPTs. That's a really important part, actually. You can use custom GPTs in the free version, but you need to pay to get to actually build them. And Sarah, we're nearly at the end. Oh, there's more coming in. How could we make the AI team greener, knowing how much resources they are taking up? Are there any best practices? I think learning how to use it properly, it's a massive problem with sustainability, but learning how to use it properly will save on wasting time, just going back and forth and with small prompts and people. So if you learn how to write a really good prompt, that is one prompt in, one response, and a bit of check-in. If somebody doesn't know how to prompt, they'll go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and waste time and still not get to where they want to go. So yeah, good AI training is definitely something that's going to help. And I think knowing which models to use as well. So there are some small, more efficient models. The new models that come out, so Claude 4.1 came out was it 4.1? Claude 4 last night. That came up, that's more efficient. With ChatGPT, there are mini models, they're quicker. So I think these tech companies have got a lot to do in showing us which types of models to use as well, which are the most efficient ones, but there's a lot of pressure on them to be more efficient. 3 minutes. How would you deal with them slowing down? I find that the further I get into a conversation, the slower the response is, mainly ChatGPT. So far, I've got around it by asking the first conversation to write a prompt and then feed it into the second one to pick up where I've left off without the lag. I haven't found a lag, to be honest. That's something I don't know if other people have experienced that. I haven't. Mainly, maybe if you're getting towards the end of a context window, that's happening. So a context window is how much it can remember in one chat. For ChatGPT, it's about 100,000 words. It's 125,000 tokens, 128,000 tokens. For Claude, that is about 150,000 words, which is 200,000 tokens. And then for Gemini, it's 1,000,000 tokens, so about 750,000 words. So if you are in ChatGPT, you might have come to the end of a context window, maybe. But if it's, yeah, maybe that's the only thing I can think of. 2 minutes, 2 questions. Where do these custom GPTs save their chats? How can you access them, say, after a month? They just save down the side normally. If you're sending it out to someone else and they're using it, you can't see their chats. And then finally, the AI Daily Brief podcast strikes me as pretty good. Yeah, that's really good too. Yeah, really good. Good suggestion, Marek. And I'm at the end. We got there on time.
Wow, thank you so much, Heather. That was amazing. And obviously, judging from all of the questions, everybody who joined found it really insightful too. So thank you so much for your time. Just a reminder for anybody that hasn't seen the link in the chat, please do download the brochure or book a call in with one of our enrolment advisors if you'd like to hear more about the programme. Thank you all for joining us today, and take care and have a lovely weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.